Hey, in today's video, we're gonna go over the 6 common watermelon growing mistakes. That's right, if you can avoid these 6 mistakes, then you're gonna have some nice, tasty watermelon. All right, mistake number 1, when you are planting your seeds, you can plant 6 or 7 seeds in there if you want to, but you wanna make sure that you thin those out. So overcrowding the watermelon planting hole is no good. Now I go down to only 1 watermelon plant per space, but the packet says that you can go 2 to 3. But if you go more than that, then chances are those watermelon plants are going to be competing for nutrients and they're going to stunt the growth. So you have to make sure that you don't over plant in that growing space. So I go with 1, 2 to 3, then you can do that as well. All right, so that's the first mistake. Mistake number 2 is watering. Now this is a big topic because you can overwater your plant, you can underwater your plant. Now the reason why I say watering is because I get a lot of questions about the little black spots on the end of the melon, which is black end rot. All right, so black end rot is due to a lack of calcium. All right, so if you have a calcium deficiency, you're gonna get that little black spot on the end of your melon. It's not gonna be any good. But a lot of people don't know this. If you are watering inconsistently, like you give it water and then you go like a week or 2 without giving it water, and then the soil dries out, and then you flood it with water, then that is another way to cause black end rot because you're tying up the calcium in the soil. Therefore, that plant cannot have access to it, and therefore the black end rot comes as well. Now, a good rule of thumb is to take your finger and check the soil. If it's getting dry, then you know you need to add some water to it. All right, so that's why I never say, hey, you can water 2 days apart from one another. I never tell anybody that because your climate is different from mine. So that's why I never let you know, hey, just water twice a week or whatever. You have to figure it out, but take your finger and do the check. Mistake number 3, and it deals with fertilizing. Making sure that you give your plants enough fertilizer. In the beginning, your plants are going to need a lot of nitrogen. So you want to make sure you use nitrogen in the beginning stages. And here's one of the fish fertilizers that I use. Now I make my own now, but this is good to have if you want to use a nitrogen fertilizer that's not going to burn your plant. And I'll put a link in the description below. All right, so that fertilizer is going to get your plants nice and green. If your plants are not green, then you're probably going to need some nitrogen, which is fish fertilizer. There are some other nitrogens, but I just keep it organic. All right, so now once you start to get fruit to set, then you want to back off the nitrogen so that you won't just keep encouraging the leaf growth. We want to encourage the flowering stages to set the fruit. All right, so what I use a compost tea. All right, so it has all the other minerals and nutrients. I'm turning around, it's the Boogie Brew. So I'll put that link down in the description as well. My plants love it. So you want to make sure you back off the nitrogen once you see the fruit starting to set or the flowers, and then you can use a compost tea, and that is a great one. All right, so that should help you out, get those fruits to set, and we start to have some nice melons. All right, mistake number 4 that I see. Now, once the melons start to set and you get lots of melons on your plants, you need to thin some of the melons off the plants, because if you don't, then your melons are going to be nice and small because they're competing for all of the nutrients. All right, so just take for example, now my wife and I, we have twins. Now our twins were about 5 pounds a piece. Now if it was just one baby inside her belly, chances are it was going to be a lot bigger because they had to split the nutrients, all right, with the twins. So that's the same thing when you're thinking about the watermelons. There are a lot of nutrients that have to get separated that they're competing for this melon plant. So you want to make sure that you thin them off. It's kind of hard to do, but it just depends on the size of the melons that you want. And I go into greater detail in how many melons per plant you should have. So it's a different range, a different mindset, and I put that video at the end. But just think of it that way. If you thin your melons, you're gonna get bigger melons. But it's up to the grower. All right, mistake number 5. This is a doozy. Now you've been growing your melon all the season, and then you go ahead and decide to clip the melon, but you cut it too soon. All right, so you want to make sure that when you're getting ready to harvest your melon, you want to make sure that that tendril is bone dry. It's brown. If it's not brown, if it's still green, leave that melon alone, because it's not time to clip it. And so when you see the little stem coming from the watermelon, then if you look on the other side of it, it's going to be a short little tendril that normally is green, but once it turns to being brown, then you want to make sure that you let it stay all the way brown before you clip it, because you don't want to wait for the entire season to be almost over with and you cut the melon, you cut inside of it, and then it's not ready. That is traumatic. All right, so watch out for that mistake. Mistake number 6, not observing your watermelon plant. Now, once you get it in the ground and it's starting to grow, you still have to come out and check it, because you have pests like the squash bugs. You want to make sure that you come out and check your plant to make sure there's no fungus that's on the plant, so you can be able to fix that early on. Also, what I'm dealing with now is a mistake I made last year when I had the moles in my yard. I didn't know anything about voles, but I didn't take care of the mole issue because they were not in the garden. I said, that's cool, but I learned that the voles use the mole tunnels so that they can go all through the yard and then jump out and go into the vegetable garden. So now my melons are under attack. But just be mindful that you have to come out and look at your plants to make sure that if there's an issue, that you can try to treat that issue early so that you'll be on your way. Now, there is one thing I forgot to mention when I talk about watering. When you get ready to, just before you're harvesting your melons, you want to make sure you back off of the watering, because you don't want to overwater at that particular time, because if you do, you're going to take away a lot of the sugars that's going to be concentrated in the melon, so your melon won't be as sweet. And near the end of that season, if you flood it with water, then it could burst or could crack. You don't want that, and we definitely do not want a melon that's not sweet. So make sure you cut back on the watering as your watermelon is getting closer. That tendril is starting to turn brown. Back off the water until you have a sweet watermelon. Now, these are the 6 most common watermelon growing mistakes. So just make sure you follow these growing mistakes and you'll be well on your way. Do me a favor, go ahead and look at this next video. If you need to know in depth about how many watermelons per plant that you need, I got a great video over here and it will help you out with that. And also, please share this video to as many people as possible so that we can get them growing these nice, great watermelons, or AKA, I'll call them juicy juicies. But I'll see you next time. Thanks for gardening with Bear Brown. Bye.